Full rigor mortis is how one mom describes her 6-month-old child's reaction to being placed in a sitting position. To say the child is vexed, defined as irritated, distressed, or annoyed, is an understatement. But it's not just babies who get vexed when they don't get their way, is it? Perhaps even some of us have felt vexed from time to time and went full rigor mortis at the idea of having to do something we didn't want to do, even if we knew it's the right thing. We've been looking at King Ahab in 1 Kings for some time now and are currently in chapter 20, which ends with him going home sullen and vexed because he was called out for disobedience to God. It's good to criticize Ahab, but today's Throwback Thursday edition of Morning Minutes in the Bible on An American Missionary reaches back nearly 60 years for a reminder that our vexation at God's rules and restrictions isn't any less offensive than Ahab's. Stuff About Things by Robert F. Turner from Plain Talk Magazine, October 1964. The scriptures say God sends his rain upon the just and the unjust, which prompted some wag in this dry country to say, if he will just rain on the unjust, we could carry the water for the just. In places, the rain-off would suffice. The Lord himself said, few were on the right road, Matthew 7:14. But no amount of warning seems to dim the appeal of the majority. We simply refuse to believe that the many with the most could be wrong. Noah and his family, 8 souls, must have been the offbeats of his age. A little bunch of religious crackpots building a boat where there was no water and before the days of trailers. And Lot, vexed with the filthy lives of his neighbors, was a regular killjoy in Sodom. Perhaps Caleb and Joshua were tempted to join with the crowd, if not to please the 10 other spies, to avoid disturbing the people with their minority report. But these and other hardy souls had the courage to stand by their convictions. The majority was wrong then, as it usually is now. But why is the majority wrong? Well, not because it is the majority. Right and wrong are not determined by numbers, great or small. The majority is usually wrong because of the way the majority usually responds to the truth or to divine authority. People as a whole lack faith in God. They substitute human authority for divine and base decisions upon fallible standards. Thus begun, there is little chance for sound, right conclusions in religion. Lacking faith in God, having not the strength to stand alone, the masses seek security in numbers. The weak flock together and imagine themselves mighty because they travel with the crowd. But might does not make right. They travel the broad way. The solution is not an easy one. It demands independent study and action. Each must recognize his individual responsibilities before God and find strength to act in his faith in God. The appeal of popularity, one of the strongest known to man, must be resisted. Compromise, so necessary in purely human affairs, must be seen as inconsistent with divine authority. We must be both humble and resolute, for man's eternal soul is at stake. Robert's reminder is important for today's go-along-to-get-along crowd, perhaps even for me and you. If we find ourselves going home sullen and vexed when someone tells us the truth from God's Word, then we need to wake up and, realizing our soul is at stake, lose the full rigor mortis attitude and bend at the waist before God to do what He says. Thank you for watching this Throwback Thursday edition of Morning Minutes in the Bible on An American Missionary. Until next time, this is James McClenny hoping you have a great day.